Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Welcome to DGI 452 and I'm joined by 𝗤𝙑 𝗤𝙑 and we have a lot going on, especially as far as the United States is concerned. Let's welcome 𝗤𝙑 𝗤𝙑. 𝗤𝙑, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskar, good morning and good evening to everybody, and happy to be here on this Super Tuesday.
Yes, indeed. So viewers, we are going to have a quick wrap up after the Super Tuesday in about 12 to 13 hours time once we have clear results. As of now, we expect Trump to sweep it, but we'll be coming back and giving you an update on that. But we have a full deck of information to share with you, especially some newly breaking information. So first of all, please like this video, and 𝗤𝙑, let's get started. Can we have the slide deck, please?
Indeed.
Sir, this is a very important moment, sir. The United States Supreme Court has struck down the Colorado ballot order, which had actually taken the name of Trump off of the ballot. And after that, many other states followed. So I take it that all of them will be struck down?
All of them will be struck down. And the amazing thing about the judgment here is that it is unanimous. Both the liberal as well as the conservative judges felt that anything that is to do with federal is not within the state mandate. So if you want to do something, go back to the Congress. Only Congress has the power to amend and enforce the Fifth Amendment. Is it the Fifth Amendment? I just want to make sure that I'm yes, Section 5, 14th Amendment. They are the only people who can do it, and it can be probably done through 2/3. So I think this drama comes to an end. It's a big farce that the Democratic states run by the Democratic Supreme Court judges. It's very clear they went past their constitutional brief, Sree.
Thank you, sir. And now Trump is pressing for total immunity to the SCOTUS of the president, right? As a role of a president, isn't it?
Correct. The decisions that he made on January 6th are all decisions leading up to it, including his kind of classified documents. We now know what they were searching for in those classified documents. All those documents, all those issues, he said he as a president has the right of immunity. He's asked the Supreme Court to take it up. We know that the case is already listed. By April 24th or so, we should get a verdict on that. June, we should get a verdict on that. So he's saying, please act, intervene, and give me the immunity that is needed. Even the January 6th, what they call as the insurrection, is an alleged, and it is not proven, and it is not been tested within the tenets of the Congress.
𝗤𝙑, one thing that blows my mind is in unison, the Democrats uttered the word insurrection. In fact, I might say, this is a little rough on them, that they have difficulty putting one foot in front of the other. I mean, there was Dianne Feinstein there, 90-year-old. I mean, they can't, how could all of them use the same word? You guys rehearsed it, did you not? Okay, anyway, this is my take. I could be horribly wrong. I hope I'm...
Choreographed, Sree. Choreographed, you're right. Choreographed enactment of drama.
Next one, please. Trump is expected to see a surge through Super Tuesday polls and claim maximum delegates. Nikki Haley dismisses rumors of a third-party run ahead of Super Tuesday. I think Nikki Haley is just overblown. They brought her in to just take the wind out of the sails of Vivek Ramaswamy, in my humble opinion. 𝗤𝙑, your thoughts?
I think I slightly kind of differ on. Firstly, Trump is going to sail through. It begs the question: is Nikki Haley being funded by not only Nikki Haley but many of the media polls adjacent to that? Is it being funded by Democrats and some part of Democrat super PACs? The reasons are that when you look at the polls, one of the things that was asked of the people who actually voted for Nikki Haley, close to 30 to 40% or even slightly higher said, they may not follow the edict of the RNC when it comes to the eventual final election. So whether this is all orchestrated or not, we don't know. But what I believe is that she was not a takeout for Ramaswamy. She was set up as a candidate. Potentially, we'll wait and see what happens when eventually she makes a final decision. She even went on public and said that she doesn't need to abide by the RNC rules. The reason is RNC is going to be taken over by Lara Trump, who is the daughter-in-law of President Trump. So this is what she has stated. So is she going to split the Republican votes in the process, give way to the Democrats? We don't know. I believe that seems to be the agenda in the end, Sree.
I hope it won't come to family members occupying critical positions, Sridharji. That's an indication of nepotism.
That's the reality, Sree. This is politics we are dealing with, whether it is United States or India or Europe. It's the same. The name of the game is politics. The color never changes, and the water never changes. It's the same kind of story. It is, Well, we have seen what's happened with, what's happening with Mr. Biden. We have seen it with what's happening with happened with Mr. Obama to some extent, and we are seeing we had the same thing with Mr. Donald Trump. Mr. Kushner was going around. He's also the son-in-law, going around doing deals all over the world. So. There seems to be a trend that that happens in other parts of the world, which United States has fast caught on, Sree.
Next one, please. Biden continues to lag in poll numbers. Border officials see massive new surge at southern border, which has become the central political issue for 2024. Sridharji, there may not be any space anymore to let them in. Where is the space? No city wants to take them. Even the democratic sanctuary cities are now bursting at the seams. What is this madness, sir?
The madness is, I think we covered this in a short kind of brief. And the story is that it's to change the political landscape, and it is to reset the demographic ecosystem. And this is a game that there's a whole bunch of people, including the advocacy groups, such as we covered that in a lengthy kind of session, 4 groups which were behind it, led by Mr. Soros and other people. So there seems to be a concerted attempt, whether a Republican candidate, whether it is Trump or someone comes and resets it, that seems to be that's the only way this course is going to change course. And with regard to where they are, I don't know I think we covered this in one of the DGIs. If we didn't, then, my apologies. That now they are Democrats in some of the states, such as in Michigan. They're asking communities to accommodate these people in their respective homes for a period of time. In New York, they have created temporary shelters. They're accommodating them in hotels funded by the government, running into billions in terms of the bill. That's what they're doing. And the next surge is already on at the border. And this was hugely contested between Trump and Biden. And eventually, Mr. Biden probably lost his stream of thought, and he was talking about climate change at the border. Okay, so therefore, this is the unfortunate situation we are in, Sree. Where is the place? California, I think, is a huge land. We can send everybody to California, Sree.
No, they'll have to cross Texas, sir. Texas can absorb a lot too.
Okay, we'll take them in Texas as well, and we'll take them in California. We'll take them in Arizona. There's plenty of space. All they need is money to pitch their tents. And by the way, they're going to revive manufacturing jobs. They're going to revive manufacturing. They're all coming up with their skilled engineering or semi-technical degrees, Sree. That's the Democratic agenda.
Well, we'll wait and see, won't we? Next one, please. Israel ups the ante and now states that over 450 workers were Hamas militants as it arrests 80 terrorists. So these are 450 workers who are working where?
UNRWA, United Nations Workers Relief Agency. Okay. Now United Nations is, after its review, confirms that there were rapes, sexual harassment, and other types of activities based on its initial investigation and evidence. Initially, they were all bluffing, and now, or they were not bluffing, that's a harsh word, let me take it back. They were not willing to accept, but now United Nations investigation confirms, which US said, no, we also endorse the United Nations observations and findings. But on the streets of United States, what these guys are projecting and marching seems to be to a different tune, basically to misrepresent the truth, if you have to say so, Sree.
And the United States calls on Hamas to accept ceasefire terms as Israel is reported to boycott talks in Cairo. So this is upcoming talks, Sridharji?
No, the talks happened over the weekend, and I don't think Israel has participated. Hamas has not agreed either. Basically, I think we covered this. Benjamin Netanyahu has laid out his very clear plan as far as Israel is concerned. The plan is very simple. Gaza, the entire Gaza will be under a security blanket of Israel, and the administration and oversight of even some of the Palestinian, from a security point of view, will be in Israel. Palestinians can resume their activities slowly and progressively and take charge and demonstrate that they are acting in good faith and there will not be any further attacks. The question of Gaza being handed over to Hamas or Palestinian is a clear option that's off the table, which is basically resulting in Hamas and others walking out. As far as the two-state solution, it's disappeared from the discussion, Sree.
That's good, sir. But there was an interesting incident. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who happens to be a congresswoman in your neighborhood, Sridharji, was leaving a theater and she was accosted by a pro-Palestinian supporter. They both went into a shouting match. Everything is captured on video. Those of you who are on social media can pick up this video. So this is an abject lesson for these loudmouths. They think that they can get votes by saying this, but they also whip up passions among their constituents. And when they are, when they are seen face to face, they bear the brunt of it. Anyway, so this is an interesting aside. They are getting the heat of their own statements. Let's wait and see how it goes. Next one, please. Ships entering Yemeni waters must obtain permit, says Houthi minister. In a rare interview, Assad defends Hamas and praises Putin to a pro-Kremlin journalist. Sridharji, first off, are Houthis recognized by any country, sir?
Nobody. I don't know. I don't even think.
What locus standi do have? What locus standi do they have, sir?
You don't need locus standi. You just need a surrogate, and you have now a media world which is inundated with this pro-Palestinian left-wing propaganda machine. They're willing to publish anything. I don't even know what the Palestinians, because there was a report that I've read from Israel, the Palestinians behind the backs of the Hamas want normalcy to be restored and they want to resume their life and basic living. But obviously they are under the threat. So very similar as far as the Houthis. The Houthis are concerned, they make statements, and there is media through Iranian help carry these statements. It's not that they have, they are being invited and asked to stand in front of public televisions, but these statements are being issued basically to say, we mean business. Iran is not saying it because it doesn't believe that it wants to show that it is part of it. It just wants to say it's a trusted arbitrator, but on the contrary, all its surrogates driven by Iran are making the statement. So that's what Houthis is all about, Sree.
Thank you, sir. And viewers, there is a very big revelation at the end of this show. So stay tuned in. And this came in just a few minutes ago, so we had to add it in at the very end. Next one, please. Moody's raises India's GDP forecast to 6.8% from 6.1% for the year 2024. In a major milestone for India's energy sector, Modi flags off first crude oil tanker from Krishna Godavari deep block to Mangalore refineries. Sir, both very significant milestones.
Indeed, I think probably Moody's realized, all the numbers, doom and gloom they've been forecasting. has turning out to be contrary. The economic momentum is very strong. The Q3 GDP was about 7.4%. On the basis of that, FY24 numbers look very high. So this is calendar 24 numbers. Calendar 24 is January to December numbers. You can see it's a very significant, it's a 70 basis points lift, 6.1 to 6.8. We expect 2024 GDP to be north of 7%, probably slightly below 7.5% is what, based on all the current, economic data that we are seeing, Sree. So, who knows? There will be another revision, but this just tells you how some of these rating agencies work.
And I think the finding of new crude oil in the Godavari-Kaveri basin, I'm sorry, is it Godavari-Kaveri basin?
Yeah,
Can you go back to the previous?
No, Krishna-Godavari basin.
Krishna-Godavari basin, yeah. This is very, very important because this also reflects, the silt that may have flown over millions of years, and if once it has been found, who knows what kind of a potential that has. But this is a first, I believe. This was initially done, 15, 20 years ago, but somehow it went sideways, and now I think they are back to drilling oil. All good. Next slide, please. India's Navy to commission INS Jatayu on Lakshadweep island closest to Maldives. Danish Parliament Speaker Soren hails India's democracy and hopes for an early India-EU free trade agreement. Sridharji, let's talk about INS Jatayu. So there is a trade deal that Maldives has signed with China today, and looks like India is reacting almost immediately.
India is reacting immediately. India doesn't believe that Maldives is going to comply and take a very aggressive stance. So remember, we also covered India's deal with. India is taking its precaution and making sure that its strategic options are not compromised, and hence this particular development. Remember, we also covered that India has already expanded its orders in terms of surveillance helicopters, drones, etc., especially naval ones, to make sure that it has enough kind of surveillance and attack capabilities in the Indian Ocean, given the Chinese and Maldives situation, Sree.
And WTO agri talks. EU Commissioner says that India's unrealistic policy is sinking it. Sridharji, these are just posturing, these are positions, isn't it? I mean,
it is, Sree. It is.
At the end of the day, who's more desperate, who's going to lose?
Yeah. So these two things, that's why I didn't comment. Now, the fact that many EU individual nation prime ministers, presidents, as the case may be, visit India and basically go rah about the FTA, and then you go to WTO and make enough pronouncements, it begs the question, which is WTO under attack under the guise of India, United States, China, etc.? That seems to be the case, because you really got a problem. Why would you do a free trade agreement? A free trade agreement basically establishes and agrees to your basic rules that they will trade each other with, recognizing that there are differences in certain areas. Both United States and Europe, which are very big protectors of their domestic agro fisheries agenda, they are not going to concede, and they're not going to eliminate the tariffs. So India is saying, why should I kind of open up and impact my farmers? So much about the farmers' agitation in India, which I don't want to, I'm not a subject matter expert, I don't want to comment. But the fact that India is defending its stuff very strongly for its agricultural products and farmers, as well as to its fishermen, is a reflection of the strong position that it has taken in WTO, Sree.
Thank you, sir. Next one, please. EU Commissioner von der Leyen says, with or without US support, we cannot let Russia win. Sweden's entry into NATO is approved. Macron says sending Western troops to Ukraine not ruled out. That's a big statement, sir, from France.
It's a very big statement. These two things are very important, and we'll wait for the next slide as well. But the story is so therefore they're very clear. It looks like war with Russia is inching in some form or the other, or some defense mechanisms may be invoked. The fact that France has stood up and effectively stated that NATO troops into Ukraine, if it is to happen, will happen, because we are not going to allow Russia to march its way. These are very significant events within the context of how much EU is prepared. They are also aware it is possible that the next president of United States could be Trump. If that is the case, Trump is going to say, okay, you want me to come and fight your war? No problem, but you have to fund it. And so EU is saying, or he may say, this your stuff, you kind of deal with it, because Trump had already made a statement he's not funding NATO unless NATO pays its component of the bills. So I think all this is as a result of there's potential and imminent change of presidency in the United States, and also the looming threat emanating from Russia, Sree.
Next one, please. EU aims to shift European arms industry to war economy mode. China cancels Premier's press conference for the first time since 1993. Philippines will push back against China if maritime interests are ignored. So, sir, you have China also acting up now.
Indeed. So let's go to first, EU aims to shift. So what they're saying now is, we talked about how EU said with or without US, it will act in terms of self-defense. Macron has stated if required, NATO will send its troops. Now EU, all the countries have agreed they will step up their defense production. Up until now, this was a dormant industry with more focus on exports. But the fact they have shifted and saying it will go into a war economy mode effectively implies they want to up their productions so that they are not reliant on external countries in terms of meeting its war requirements, Sree. So this is very significant. This is also a very significant development as EU unanimously accepts this resolution. Now, as far as China, this premier's, the two things that you need to look at. There was a huge contingent of Chinese defense officials present in Beijing earlier today. The conference was cancelled yesterday. And the general indication based on what we are hearing is its economy is in shambles. There's lots of challenges in terms of economic growth. The focus seems to have been shifted to lifting the war game. They have upped the ante in terms of their defense allocation to 7.2%, which is one of the highest. They are the second biggest spender. So all this points to that the premier is absent as China prepares itself more towards its internal and inner agenda. And the focus on outside seems to be war, which is what prompted the discussions between Philippines and China didn't go well. And as far as Philippines is concerned, it says, I remember it all started with that Scottsboro Coast, Spratly Islands, the Palawan, all these areas now under contest, and effectively Philippines is saying we're not going to stay idle. Remember, Philippines has they signed a strategic deal with US in terms of the security arrangement. Philippines is also a buyer, and India has advanced its supply. I think land-based BrahMos missile should be coming anytime this month into Philippines. Sree?
Yes, indeed. And it will be a very important moment for India. Now comes the big news, the one that you will be very happy about, Sridharji. Bitcoin tops 68,000 as it nears 2021 all-time high. Crypto market grew from 1 trillion to 2.53 trillion. And gold rises about 2,100 to highest level ever by a possibility of rate cuts.
I think we covered when we did market show. I know we haven't done one for a long time. At that point of time, if you recall, the market cap of crypto had risen to about 900 billion. It just went past 1 trillion. Today, it is at 2.52 trillion. Whether you like it or don't like it, it's, sorry. Whether one likes it or not, it is on its ascendancy. If you are an optimist and if you are in the market, they expect crypto market cap to reach 4 to 5 trillion. I believe somewhere north of 3 to 3.5 trillion is a number that the crypto will achieve, which means it'll add another trillion dollars to its market cap. As is always the case, there will be gyrations. You make money when you go up, you sell. And if you decided to stay put, you will also have to take the hits as it goes down. But the crypto is here to stay. Okay, whether you like it, accept it, deny it, it's here. Okay, it will be here. Now, gold, we have never seen a number of 2100. We have seen a number which is 2040, 2050, 2060. If you kind of go back all the way to 1986, it started around 300 to 305 dollars an ounce. So whether it can reach 2200, whether it can reach 2400, some people predict 2400. I expect it somewhere in the 2200 marks as the money shifts. Because currencies have also appreciated, most of the currencies have appreciated against US dollar. As the rates come down, where is the safe haven? The safe haven is dollar or crypto, Sree.
Thank you, sir. Next one, please. 3 Red Sea underwater cables. This is the important information that I told you that we had to put at the end. 3 Red Sea underwater cables that provide internet connections to Asia, Africa, Europe 1, the Europe-India Gateway, CCOM, and TGN Gulf Corridor are damaged, says Hong Kong-based HGC Global Communications. Sir, this is huge. So somehow they want to create disruption in the world order.
25% they believe at this stage in this corridor, 25% of the traffic could potentially have been impacted, but they have always, the world has learned post 9/11, that is September 11th. It has learned the lesson that you have to have a redundancy plan. The fact these cables have been cut, internet traffic in 3 very big corridors impacted, and somehow they have maintained the supply, reflects to us, reflects to one and all, that the Houthis and the Iranians want to choke the world, and effectively, this is like a ransom. So they have not stopped just with launching attacks on the maritime tankers, but they want to now affect anything and everything that is within the corridor. Remember, Houthi minister also indicated that any vessel that is going through Yemen, will have to get permission, and nobody cares and nobody will get it either anyway. But these are all the kind of posturing that is going on in the Gulf of Aden, Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean, and then of course the Red Sea, Sree.
And last one, sir, how Houthi missiles, no, last one, go back please. Houthi missile attack sets a ship ablaze in Gulf of Aden.
It is. I think that most of the crew members were evacuated. There are rumors that this could be an Israeli flagged ship or Israeli ship. The fact that they have again hit a vessel and the vessel is on fire, it also begs the question how equipped some of these vessels are in terms of their capability to defend against these attacks. All tankers are not capable of defending against these attacks. So they are now cherry picking wherever it is possible as a show of, as a television kind of, fire show to shake the views of the audiences. They're picking and choosing the targets. Remember, Sree also pointed out the attacks have considerably reduced after the responses from the allies, US, Germany, UK, even India has participated in mitigating some of these attacks. Canada, Japan, all are involved in this. China stepped up. China is not participating, but it stepped up its rhetoric only to say that you're going to disrupt the traffic, stop this. So it is a significant development. They have shifted their theater to now impacting communication, Sree.
Thank you, sir. And we have a few questions today, sir, if you don't mind answering those.
Sure.
Let's go for it. Partha wants to know, do you think they need a tough negotiator like President Trump back amidst this talk of shifting to multipolar world? These backfiring lawsuits only push his poll numbers up.
Well, I think that the President Trump is a tough negotiator. There's no doubt, that, and President Trump also made sure, or the former President Trump, because sometimes people pick this up, former President Trump, held the world in terms of, to some extent, normalcy. He was a maverick to the extent that he promoted pro-US, MAGA, Make America Great Again. That resonated with the public, but at least people knew what they were getting out of him. Right now in the United States, there's chaos and nobody wants it. And most of this chaos is led by advocacy groups who are supporting Biden. They tell you get my votes provided you follow this. So Biden is not focused around how to build America, how to grow America, and how to manage America. Because otherwise you will not have, zillions of illegal migrants flowing into the country, complete chaos as far as law and order are concerned. Budget is a hell. Our deficit has blown out. And, we are in, there is no foreign policy that has succeeded across the world. So you can see the chaos because Biden and Democrats wants power and led by various elements within the progressive group who have their own respective agenda. So clearly you need a Trump-like president back so that we can restore some normalcy and get on and get back to business.
Thank you, sir. Next question, please. Nitin Jain wants to know, sir, what's your way on banking sector of Bharat in coming 3 to 5 years? Will the growth of Bharat GDP reflect banking sector to grow in relation to it?
Based on all the numbers, though I don't cover Indian market, based on all the numbers that I have seen, one of the three sectors that is expected to perform exceptionally well is the banking sector. So as India rises and moves towards its 5 trillion plus agenda, the banking sector will be one of the key drivers and key enablers of the growth. So the well-run banks, you will see positive impact on your investments. Banking. Also, the banks' balance sheets have been cleaned up. So India is in a much better banking state related to where it was about 10 years ago. So yes, the answer to the question is yes, I believe.
Next one, please. Vignesh Prabhu, thank you so much. Sree Iyer, if you are in Chennai, can we meet over coffee table for a while? Please conduct one meeting like done in Bengaluru. I'll definitely do that the next time I'm around, Vignesh ji. Thank you so much. Next one. Create video 53. I think data is for April 23 to March 24. Q3 GDP was 8.4.
Yes, the Q3 GDP, I said 7.4. I stand corrected, is 8.4. Yep.
Thank you so much, sir. That brings us to a close of today's session. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening or have a wonderful day.